guys, so let's start off today with normal Gundam news. So in 2011, I went to Japan to see the first full-scale Gundam built in Shizuoka, Japan, and it was so cool, one of the coolest things I ever did. Now, there are a lot of things in life that you can just enjoy more thoroughly when you've seen them in real life, and considering how much I like Gundam, I just had to see this Gundam in real life to fully understand what a fucking Gundam was, and see this fucking Gundam right in front of me, and know that it could easily step on me. Now, since then, the statue moved to Tokyo, and eventually it was torn down and replaced by the slightly cooler Unicorn Gundam statue, which I haven't got around to seeing either. But then, most recently, it was finally replaced by the utterly gorgeous, albeit slightly complicated, Gundam Harbor Yokohama as a promotional Gundam-themed landmark for the 2020 Olympics, which ultimately no one had a good time with. So I myself had real mixed feelings on this. I was originally hoping it was going to be an actual Gundam, because they talked about it like it was an actual Gundam, but actually it was not an actual Gundam, because when it was finally set up, it pretty much amounted to the world's largest puppet, complete with this ridiculous stick on its back, which was attached to it permanently to help it move around and, pull it in and out of its box. So while technically it's a moving full-scale Gundam, it's a fucking giant animatronic puppet and not a robot. So ultimately, I'm disappointed. Anyway, despite that disappointment, I hope to someday return to Japan and eventually see it. But that dream is now dead because Yokohama Gundam Harbor is going to be destroyed in a mere 8 weeks from now. What the fuck? Or if you're thinking, well, MB, why don't you just fly over there now and see it? Well, I can't, because Japan is on COVID lockdown for at least the next 10 weeks. And that's only if they don't extend the COVID lockdown. So I ain't never gonna see that thing. So yeah, unless you're actually living in Japan right now, this is your last chance. You have 2 months to see the full-scale Gundam do its thing in real life. The rest of us are just going to have to mourn its loss and live on with the videos. And it's a very real shame because it just snowed on this thing for the first time ever, and it just fills me with a sense of wonder seeing the Gundam frolic in the snow. Despite all that though, I feel like the 1-1 Gundam will probably rise again somehow, somewhere. And maybe this time they'll actually go all the way with it and make it a fully autonomous Gundam, so it can just run away when people get tired of it and, head to another town where it's safe. Anyway, that figures. The Olympics are a memory now, and man, what a disaster that was. Can you believe they destroyed the Tsukiji fish market for that crap? Ugh, what a waste. Okay, enough reminiscing. Time for Gundam Breaker Mobile. So after last week's offensive Lightning Zeta Gundam banner, the game is this week somehow feeling insanely generous. So to start things off, we have 2 amazing new suits. The star suit this week is the XN Riser, an insane maxed out Gundam 00 with an even bigger 00 riser on its back. This comes from the manga Gundam 00V, where apparently this unit technically never existed. It was a unit created in a simulation where Saji Crossroad, having a depressed beta moment, wondered if there was anything he could do to make the 00 riser stronger. And when he simulated a stronger 00 riser, he was offered the upgrade to build the XN riser. But he didn't take it because he didn't think he could handle it because it was too extreme. But anyway, if the XN Riser combined with the Gundam 00, we will have gotten this pure insanity, which is the Gundam 00 XN Riser. Anyway, because it was a theoretical thing, they made a model kit of it, and because they made a model kit of it, it now exists in this game. I almost pulled the same thing with a few missing parts, and I have to say it is very, very good. Especially the XN Trans Am on its back, which is just outstanding. Now, not to be outshined by that is the Gundam Astrof Origin, which has no relation to Gundam the Origin. This is actually from the IBO side manga IBO Gecko, and this is the first Calamity War Gundam frame we've actually gotten in the game, which is really fucking cool. Because you hear a lot about the Calamity War, but you never see any of the Calamity War Gundams, and this is insanely awesome that we finally got one. Now, fun bit of backstory on this one. It was discovered in relatively perfect condition by Gjallarhorn, and then it was gifted to a noble family. Unfortunately, that noble family eventually fell on hard times, so they scrapped the Gundam and sold it for parts, and eventually its internal frame was developed into the much weaker mid-shooter Gundam Astrof, which exists in the modern day. The Origin Astrof, meanwhile, is a physical melee powerhouse that very much resembles the Barbatos in much more ways than I was expecting, including this giant sledgehammer, which very much resembles the Barbatos' giant mace. And this unit kind of rules. Aside from that, there's also new alterations for both of these suits, although I wasn't fully stoked on the head for the XN Riser. But making this event even sweeter is the cool shit that they've done this week. For some reason, they decided to do an infinite double Stokai this week, and that is just pure jackpot. I did 9 pulls on this double banner, and in those 9 pulls, I got 10 completely unique parts and only 1 duplicate. So we have above average stats on the infinite double Stokai. I really made out like a madman on this event, and I'm so effing happy because I almost got the whole Exen Riser, and I got enough pieces of the Astaroth to be satisfied. So I gotta say, this is one of the best banners we've seen in a long time, and I'm fully happy. Although please, whatever you do not pull on the normal just Astaroth or just Exen Riser banners. I did 1 pull on those, and they're shit. Complete below average odds on them, literally no point for them to exist this week. And with that being said, I put together my complete badass unit of the week, the XN Exia Astaroth. Fuck yeah, it rules. It destroys all its competition, and I had a very fun time playing for the event missions with it. Now on that note, we have a new and extremely late New Year's event mission, which is another side story with a whole story on it. In this side story, the protagonist becomes the infamous character the Japanese call Lucky Man. And yeah, that's a thing in Japan. There was even a manga about it. Anyway, then a stupid and insane rumor starts that if you touch Lucky Man, you can steal his luck. Which vaguely reminds me of kids trying to steal the cereal from the Lucky Charms leprechaun, or the insane rumor that if you eat Kashurn, you'll live forever. So yeah, go ahead and eat Kashurn, I guess. Anyway, unfortunately though, it's 2022, and the protagonist is a good boy who knows that social distancing is still a thing. So this whole event turns very comedic, and they literally run all over Japan, and he just has to avoid everyone trying to touch him in the middle of a COVID epidemic. And also, Sana is planning to pretty much give herself to you at this point, which is kind of weird and a little sad the way they play it out, because you have no like ability to actually be like, okay, Sana, I love you. Nah, you're just playing her along. Anyway, this all leads up to the random charity unit of the week, Revive Revival's Gadessa, a badass beam launcher shooter with very significant killing beam attacks that are just fantastic. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the suit as a charity suit. Fully enjoyed playing as it. Very fun build. And on top of that, one of the best charity suits we've gotten in a while, although we did just get the Delta Gundam, so it's at least as good as that. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, I remember the suit from Gundam 00. Not sure why, because I don't remember Revive Revival, and I thought the suit was a mass production suit, but I remember it was more green in the show. And the suit in this game is kind of a mint ice cream color. So that really bothered me, and I tried to figure out what the discrepancy was, so I looked it up, and I was right. The suit actually was more green in the anime. So why is the model in the game a greenish white? Well, it turns out the model kit was a greenish white, and then I guess the game went with the model kit look because, you know, this game is based on the model kits, so of course they did. I guess I'm okay with the mint ice cream green, but yeah, I might recolor mine to look a little bit more green to the way the anime was. I finally got around to beating the new Melee Battle Circuit this afternoon, and it was pretty cool. I didn't run into any major problems aside for a few AI pilots not working the way I wanted, so I had to play on manual, but for the most part I was able to coast through it again as usual. There's a new crew multi-mission. As usual, I'm going to invite my crew to get together this Friday to try and beat it. Hope to see you guys there. Should be a pretty good time. It usually is. And yeah, that's everything out of me and Buster Green. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys found it interesting or useful. If you have any suggestions for things I can change up, let me know. My channel has been diving in quality this month. So yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, I'm open to them right now. Otherwise, please subscribe. I'm just close enough to almost getting 1,000 subscribers, and I really need that. And yeah, see you guys next week, I guess. Later.